Welcome to RTA Motorsports.
Alright, so the first thing that I noticed, I did have it up and running for a little bit now. I didn't just install it. I just installed it maybe about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago, if that. And I went through some settings and I noticed some things like the graphical settings were a little weird. The wheel was picked up. I have a Fanatec Club Sport V2.5 wheelbase and V3 pedals and everything like that. Everything was picked up immediately, which was really cool. And it seems like you use the wheel's built-in menu to kind of change any of the settings for the wheel that you want, and it seems to reflect it in the game, which is really nice. But the graphical settings were a little weird. Let's see if they're doing it again. Yeah, I'm getting this extremely high resolution on here, 3840 by 2160. I don't know why that's happening. I keep putting it back to 1920 by 1080 to try to save some impact on my GPU, and it keeps seeming to like pop back over to that weird crazy resolution. So let's see if this actually stays. This was another thing. I changed all of this to ultra earlier and now it's back to dynamic. I don't know why that keeps happening, but those are the two things so far that are a little quirky. Kind of got me a little bit frustrated. I don't really notice that big of a difference, but I have a 1080 Ti, so I want to definitely get the most out of that I could. So you do have all these options here for Thrustmaster, Logitech. So, well, alright, so there is a V2.5 in here, but for some reason mine came up automatically as this weird sort of custom controller too. But everything seems to be looking pretty good. It even picked up the different gears that I have in here, although reverse was set to something completely different. It was a button on the steering wheel instead of one of these gear cogs in here. That was a little strange. And handbrake, let's make sure that's still correct. Okay, that was a button. It didn't actually assign a handbrake, so you're going to want to make sure you go in and figure that out too. That's all I found so far. Let's save this and let's go into the gameplay. You're gonna notice I'm still very new to Forza Motorsport's line, or any Forza. This is my first Forza game. I used to be Gran Turismo nut back in PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1? I don't know. Need for Speed, I think, back then, but PlayStation 2 definitely I had Gran Turismo. This is my first Forza, so I'm very new to it. Still kind of getting my head around it. I gotta say, I'm not good on a controller. I'm gonna do a review of this title and what I think of this title once I get a little bit more playtime in it. Maybe in a few days or a week or so, we're gonna start working on the review for this, because this is a little bit different than what I'm used to, especially being able to just go from a console and install it on your computer and then throw it on your rig and continue it. That's totally different mindset than what I'm used to. And I'm still getting a handle on these menus. Let's see. This is a free play, but I'm trying to. Some of the menus, they're a little like you got to dig for things. I mean, you know, when you go to free play, I think one of the first things you should be greeted with is what track do you want to go to, rather than access a few menus to go to the track. I don't think it should be that way, personally. Go to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We'll do something short, just to kind of get a feel of it. 23 cars, day, car division, Ford GT. I think this is the only car I actually own in the GT series, and it's something that I won early on. I think it's kind of something everyone probably wins. So race info, let's go to race, and let's see how this works out for us. There is some butt kicker support, I believe, for this in simvibe. I believe. I thought I saw that. I didn't set it up. But as far as sim tools, haven't been able to get it working yet. Spent a quick moment kind of messing with it. Spent all last night reading about it, trying to see if there was anything around. And let's see, let's just do a starter mod crate. So basically, if you're new to this title, it's like kind of an arcadey sort of racing title. Although you can turn all the assists off, and then it's pretty darn hard. I may have to just put it in on a view that... Good, it sounds fine to you. And that's another thing too, I'm using my old Logitech headphones that I haven't used in so long. I'm so used to my Vive headphones, but you know, being that we're not in a VR situation, this is a little bit different. I thought I turned that off, and look, the line is back again. You know, I'm not getting these menus. We're getting hit from behind. The AI is definitely putting a good fight, though. It's hard to tell distances when you're just looking on a screen again. This is pretty weird. It's pretty neat though how I didn't really map anything on this wheel, but everything is working. Force feedback feels good. And the LEDs are working. The gear shift indicator is working on the steering wheel. See if we can get around this Ford GT. There we go. This definitely feels a lot different on a rig than it does with a controller in your hand. Totally different. Whoa. A little bit of a stutter there. Whoa. Oh no. We lost it coming off the throttle. Now that AI is a little bit separated a little bit, so the visual effects in this title are actually pretty good. I like how everything looks. I don't like that. Oh my gosh. That's embarrassing. Oh my gosh. We're doing horrible. I can't even keep the car on the track. Come on. Come on. It'd be really sweet once we actually get motion working, because I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get it working one way or the other. There's actually a bunch of people on SimTools right now trying to ask for it to get them working, and they're having a little bit of issue because it is a Windows title. It's a Windows Store title, so I guess certain files that they would normally patch for these games are like hidden in different areas. Not again. Not again. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. I am not this bad in iRacing at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. And that's iRacing. Insert excuse here. How about that? Just insert excuse here. I need a little bell, like an easy button. I can just hit it and it'll have an excuse ready for me. Come on. How are we 11th? That was a pretty cool sound. Tire going on the curb. Everything just feels a little... Everything feels good, but it just feels a little different. It's going to take me just probably a little while just to get used to how these cars handle. To get used to this field of view. I wish you could set the field of view. There might be a way to do it on PC. If there is a way, let me know. Sorry, I have a few monitors going, and I have chat currently over there. You get like a little monitor or something. There we go. Look at that. Like as if we have ever driven on Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca before. This is our first time on PC anyway, so. Alright. 8th. Great-ish. Alright, let's see what's going on. Alright. He was just trying to Stark alarm. Oh, hey everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. He said he was just trying to load the game on his PC and it wouldn't load. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. You might need to make sure that you have your latest Windows update, your latest creators update to Windows. That might be part of your problem. Ben Swift, hey champ. Hey, how's the feeling of the wheel? The demo on GT300 RS wheel was rubbish and it turned me off of Forza 7. So far, so good. It feels different. It does feel a little different. The force feedback is very tight and it's very strong, but I haven't found where I could adjust it, and that's a little weird too. I don't know if you can, but I haven't found where I can adjust it yet. Ron Smith, he has his PC connected 2.1 speakers and 4.1 gaming chair, so he has 3-way audio control. That's pretty cool. Mad, the Huracan on-tune can be pretty oversteery. And the R8. Yeah. That we just noticed. Yeah, it was a little bit of an experience. So, yeah, alright. That's actually pretty cool. That's really nice to see, the damage model. That is, because we were getting bumped around, and that damage model looks really nice. But like I was saying, in Assetto Corsa, we would just take a car, and we would just throw it around a track. And the track that we always would use is the Nordschleife. So I'm kind of curious to take a car, throw it around the Nordschleife, and see how it... Let's see if we could get that going. take a car, throw it around the Nordschleife. Okay. Alright, thank you, Matt. I'll definitely check that out. I want to try a few different cars before I make any real changes, because I have a feeling it's going to be just fine. It's just going to, you know, take a little bit to get used to. So far, that felt decent. It just feels different, and that's the thing. It just feels different. I think the field of view was messing with me more than anything, because that is a TV, and it's quite a distance away from me, and it was that first-person view. Really, I should be at like a dash view for this distance for it to feel a little bit more correct. So I'm just gotta get used to it. That's it. The Mazda 787B is one of the cars that I have tried in Assetto Corsa. Let's see how much it is to rent. Do you have to pay to rent? I don't know if you have to pay to rent. Do you? I don't know if you have to pay to rent these cars. Is the open wheel car a Star Mazda? You know, I'm not sure. I think it was. I think it was. We might have to go back to that. But I really got to try the 787B. Ron Smith, what's my favorite car that I know handles good? I don't know. I don't know in this game. You know, the Audi, which was weird too, because the Audi R8 LMS Ultra in Project Cars 2 is like one of my go-to cars whenever I'm doing those types of races, because it's so planted. But in this title, it was also very oversteery. And I know that this title kind of also goes along with setups. Setups is kind of a big thing in this title that I was reading about. A lot of people create a lot of setups. So we might have to try setups for all I know. Let's go to test drive. I think this car is a manual. We have a video on this Fanatec 1.5 SQ that we're working on right now, coming soon. Oh my gosh. Oh, see, I tried to go that way again. Oh man, you gotta get used to that. I'm getting this weird sound. It almost sounds like my engine's in a different room. That makes any sense? It sounds gorgeous, but it sounds like I'm listening to it in a different room. Is this only a 3-speed? I don't think it is. I'm only getting 3 speeds out of this darn thing. That is strange. I didn't think this car was only a 3-speed. I wonder if paddle shifts. Alright, so paddle shifts at the same time as your H pattern will work. That is a very strange thing. You might actually have to try that Star Mazda. Now the force feedback does feel a lot different. And the car is angry on corner exit, just like it is in the other titles. So that's why I'm shifting so early to keep the RPMs down, because this car will spin, but so far it actually feels pretty behaved. Provided I keep the RPMs down. I'm ending up blowing this motor. So this is actually feeling a little bit more normal to me. We really need a fourth gear though. I don't know what that's about. Hold on. Everyone's guessing 4th, 5th, and 6th aren't binded. Let me go back in there because I could have sworn that we did check that because it did it itself. But could very well be correct. Let's see. Alright, so we got 3rd. Oh, look at that. Isn't that interesting? So we got reverse, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And it's going back to what 2nd was. Wow, so it's 4th gear that is messed up. Okay. So that should really help us out right there. Okay, so let's save that. Alright, that was weird. Thank you guys. Because I was really starting to scratch my head there. I wasn't sure what the heck was going on. Yeah, alright, now we're in business. Look at that. Yeah, baby. So for some reason I'm heel towing, but and I'm basically fully depressing the throttle, but it's not picking it up. It's like I'm hitting it too fast. And it's not blipping the throttle. I can't do any more than that for heel towing, personally. It just sounded like it did it for me. There's like a delay when I let go of the clutch. It's not that immediate as you find with some of the other titles, but I mean, it's not bad, it's not horrible. But there's a little bit of like a delay. But this car feels good. I think if the response was a little bit faster, so I could heel toe and actually rev match that myself, I think we would have a winning combination here. You got the arcadey helicopter driving around. You really need to get rid of that helicopter flying around thing. We are so over that. That was it's like 1990s arcade style racing game. That helicopter gotta go. Oh, listen to that thing. So this feels really sweet. This car, handling wise, steering wheel, it doesn't feel jumpy like the Ferrari did. Or even the Audi. I mean, I could probably whip myself in this car as opposed to like if I was driving the Audi R8 LMS Ultra. There would be no way I would be able to set the same lap times with that car that I can with this one. I just feel so much better in this car than I did with that one. The track layout is starting to feel a little bit better to me because I think this car is also sitting on the floor a little bit more, so the track doesn't seem so narrow. squished. I'm sure if you just change the view, it would feel fine. But like I said, when we went to that Ferrari, instantly the field of view felt better because that dash was lower, and I'm experiencing that same thing in here. And now that we're on the floor, it feels that much better. The track doesn't feel squished. Oh yeah. You got dirt on the steering wheel, dirt smudges. I mean, on the steering wheel, on the windshield. I just wish the engine sounded a little bit more like it was rattling my brain. It sounds like it's in another room, but it sounds so good. I want to be screaming above it right now. Very well just could be my headphones. I haven't used these in a long time, and I'm not really totally used to them. Oh, this thing sounds amazing. This thing does not like the curbs. Oh man, if we had motion going right now. Oh, that was a good lap. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun there. Let's try another car. We're going to try another one. Let's see. You know, Beerus, it should have been a 5-speed, right? Was there 6 gears in it? I think there was. No. No, it's 5. It's just for some reason, it's still reading 5th gear when I slide into 6th. So 4, 5, and then it's going back to 5th again. So it is a... Instead of like just saying neutral, like most other titles would just say neutral. So it is a 5-speed. MP44 it is. They got the M23, but we'll take the MP44. Chat delay. Yep, there is a chat delay. Everyone, again, thank you so much for joining it. I'm really having a blast. This is absolutely awesome. Normally, I don't get a chance to really even look at chat because we're in VR. There is a software that I have for kind of managing that, but it just takes so much out of the system that it kind of kills it a little bit. And if I remember correctly, I think this car is manual. I don't think it's paddle shift. Oh, whoa, whoa, that was a weird delay. No, it's gotta be. I don't see him shifting. I thought this car was a manual, but I don't see him reaching down to shift. B4 Lee, hey, how you doing? We're testing out this pretty wild title for the first time in our sim rig. The sounds that are coming off this thing is pretty wild too. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Almost got a little airborne there. I kind of stopped it beforehand. I didn't want us completely catapulting. The steering feel from each car feels different, which is nice. Whoa, baby! I hope that sun doesn't go down before we're finished. We don't have any headlights. My gosh. I know we're not in VR, but they managed to make this title beautiful. This is... I'm surprised. Really wide through there. Look at that flare coming off the wall. Sun flared my eyes. Little warning sign there telling you about how tight this turn is. Woo! Almost 200 miles an hour. I kind of wonder if the brakes are really that good in real life. See how it handles the carousel here. Very smooth. I don't think it would be that way in real life. Probably a lot more bumps. Every other title, iRacing, Assetto Corsa, Race Room Racing Experience, you name it. You go through there with any vehicle, you at least feel the little undulations and cracks between the concrete slabs. This one here, I didn't feel anything in the steering wheel through there. The rest of the track, I mean, it doesn't feel horrible, but it does feel smooth, but it's not bad. I mean, I'm not really getting any sort of road texture. I'm getting resistance and fight, almost like a power steering sort of feeling. But for what it is, I mean, I'm having fun. I do feel all those bumps through there. Anytime you hear a bump, I generally seem to feel it almost, which is good. Curbs, grass, I feel all that. So you can see the steering wheel fighting me there. I felt all that. We only ran off there just for the sake of seeing what we feel, because I didn't feel anything through the carousel. Oh, pitch black. I can barely even see what the heck's going on. Got the studio lights in our eyes. Oh, top 200, 203, 204, 205, 206. Again, let me know if you like drifting, what cars you drift and where in this title if you play this title. Be sure to try to give it a shot. The brakes just feel like, in some cars they feel good, in other cars they feel like they're almost non-existent. And in this car it just feels a little too superhuman. I don't know if they were that good though. Alright, we got a 649 there. Definitely we could have done better. We stopped in the whole beginning just to kind of like see settings and whatnot for a moment. So, let's finish that test drive. I mean, the force feedback was strong. My shoulder's hurting a little bit. Crystal Lens, thank you so much. Ron Smith, did I bring my sunglasses with me? No, I did not. Didn't bring my driving glasses. Turn 10 messed up on the animation, no shifting. You know, is that car manual? I could have sworn it was manual. That's to mad. Barra said the same thing. Confused, it should be. That's why I didn't shift with this. I thought it was a manual, but I didn't want to look like an idiot shifting in an H pattern. But yeah. Alright everyone, I'm going to call it here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me during my first test with Forza 7 on the rig. You can see we're right there on the podium doing a little two-step. So far, it's a lot of fun. I mean, look at me. I'm sweating. I am sweating. This is not fake. You didn't see anyone come in and spray me. I am sweating. Some parts were pretty intense. I think that 787B from Mazda on the Nordschleife is just, that's a sweet combination. That really got my blood pumping. The sounds are good. Everything seems to be pretty good so far. The force feedback is a little weird, and I think that's probably the big knock. It's not bad, but you get these points where you almost lose forward momentum. The car just wants to slide and almost enters like a little game mode where it slides and stops for a moment. You got to try to save it. And it gets very vague in the steering wheel, so you can't really feel exactly. You can visually see what you have to do to save it, but you're not getting all the information that you get from a lot of the other sims, and you're not really driving through your hands as much. Probably, it feels more like it feels more like a car with power steering. A lot of these cars, everything's a little numbed down. You do feel resistance, road resistance, and weight transfer and stuff like that. You do feel those things. You do feel the curbs especially, but you're not getting a lot of the detail that we normally get with a lot of the other sims. Also, manual with clutch. It helped. It helped putting it in that mode, and thank you so much for telling me about that. But I'm having an issue where our downshifting, I will still clutch kick. I mean, not clutch kick. I will heel toe, and you can hear that. But the actual engagement, there's like another blip of the throttle that I'm not doing. And there's a delay before, you know, even though I already have it in gear, before it actually engages the gear. I already have the clutch out and everything like that. So it's almost acting like I'm clutch kicking the car, and it's kicking it out constantly. And it's kind of hard to get around that because I shift how I shift on my rig. And I don't want to completely change up my style for Forza when, you know, you have iRacing around and everything like that. But we're going to do a lot more testing. The menu system's a little bit confusing. There's a lot of different options everywhere. Whole lot of different options everywhere. As far as changing, just changing settings around. And that really bothers me. You know, if you put it in simulation mode, there should be one giant option where you could just put it in professional, simulation, gamer, arcade, and it will automatically put a preset to everything. But I felt like I put it in simulation in one spot, then we had to go in another spot, and we had to put steering in simulation, and then we had to, you know, change from manual to a manual with clutch, even though we mapped clutch. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of those, there's a bunch of different option windows you have to dig through and make sure everything was in line. It's nice that there's a bunch of different options, but it kind of stinks that even though you set one thing to simulation, you got to go through and set each and every little aspect of your rig to simulation mode, and you want them to drive simulation mode. You want the steering to be in simulation. It shouldn't be that difficult, and I shouldn't have to dig for that many options. Which, you know, I'm sure once you get used to it, it is what it is. But overall, very positive experience. I know I'm being very critical on this title, and don't think that I hate it. I don't. I just spent a large portion of my night here playing it because I'm having a blast. But coming from a sim racer, that's kind of like my first impression. This is just my first impression. We finally got it on the rig, finally got it on the PC. And this is kind of what I'm seeing going into it. As we learn it, some of those things may just be a non-issue. I may find out that, you know, I was wrong. And that you really just need to do this, and boom, everything is solved. But we'll learn it a little bit more, and then I'll come out with a review soon. And what I really want to do is, being that there's a lot of cars in here that are in a lot of the other sims, I want to go side by side and do a head-to-head sort of comparison on what I'm feeling with the Assetto Corsa, iRacing, Race Room Racing Experience, and Project Cars 2 compared to this, and where does this actually stand. And we're going to look into the force feedback settings and kind of see what do those actually do, because there's a lot of settings, but I'm not sure what the heck they do. I really got to do some research. So I think this title has a lot of potential, just there's too many options. Too many options. Alright, I'm Chris, this is HTC Motorsports. Hit that like and subscribe button. We stream at random times, so you're going to want to hit that reminder bell, especially if you want to catch us on a stream. I don't only stream at this time. I stream in the mornings on my time, where I am here in America, and sometimes I can stream midday. We're all over the place, so hit that reminder bell so that way you catch us when we're starting. I may or may not post this video. I'm not exactly sure. We recorded it, so I do have a higher resolution, well, a better looking version. I may or may not just chop it down before posting it. So anyway, thank you so much for all of you hanging out with me. It means a lot to me, and hope you have a great day, a great week. See you all next time.